Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Clutch Talk podcast /YouTube/We Do It All. As always, I'm your host, John. Very happy to be here. My boy Jay Hills over there in the six. How you doing, my dog?
You know me, man. Feeling good, living good. As usual, appreciate everyone for their support, watching us. We've been putting out these player contents out all summer, man. We got another great guest on that I'm happy to introduce. But before we start with that, if you're watching this video on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, Apple Podcasts, get at us, interact with us, follow us, because we appreciate your support, like I said. But let me introduce our guest. A man of many accolades, played everywhere, a long pro as well. He's second team All Big 12 in 2017, second team All Big 12 in 2018, former Oklahoma State Cowboy, Jeffrey Carroll Jr. Welcome onto the show. Welcome onto Clutch Talk, my man.
Oh, what's up, fellas? How y'all doing? I'm great. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. Like how Jay Hill said, a star, man, a true pros pro, man. We got our guy Jeffrey Carroll, man. So we're happy to have you on the show. But like how Jay Hill said at the top of the show, man, we appreciate all the support. But we like to do over here at Clutch Talk. We like to get straight into it. So let's just let's just jump straight into it, man. So Jeffrey, man. So we know you were born in Alexandria, Virginia, man. But what I want to know is, who put that ball in your hands and at what age?
Man, I would probably say my dad to start off, man, probably as soon as I could really remember. He definitely gave me that little Fisher Price goal with the ball, and it's just definitely something that I saw like right away. And from there, I would say, from there, it's been love ever since. But I played some sports throughout my childhood, but I didn't know that basketball would be the one that I would go pretty far in.
Okay, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Yeah, we tend to see, with most of these interviews that we do, a lot of these cats start with that Fisher Price hoop. So I got a little baby girl too, so I gave her a little Fisher Price hoop too. Man,
it's a good start. It's a good start. I'm telling you,
man, for sure. You talk about your pops gave you that hoop, but like as a youth, who are you modeling your game after? Did your pops play or something like that, or was there any players you were looking at, you were like, man, I'm trying to model my game, trying to be like that?
Starting off, I really didn't try to be like anybody, to be honest. Basketball was just something that I just really like to watch, and something that I like really caught myself just trying to find out more about, trying to play, for my fun time. But my dad definitely played. He played high school. He played some college, and then but no, he didn't go to the league or play professional. But no, so I would say like the basketball definitely goes in the blood. So
man, that's what's up, man. Yeah,
right.
That's what's up. We tend to see that, with a lot of these hoopers, man. So you grow up, get a little older, you decide to go to Raleigh High School in Texas, man. So talk to us a little bit about how your high school basketball experience was. We know by your senior year you did district champion, led your team to 26-4 record. Accomplished a lot of great things, but how was that experience?
It was great. It was definitely where I found out that basketball could be my way, in life. And from there, it started in high school, freshman year, coming in, young cat, thin. I made JV, and it's funny because all my best friends made varsity my freshman year, and I was the only one that didn't make varsity. And man, it was a sad day, man. It was a very sad day, but it definitely gave me a chance to play, develop, gain my confidence. I would say was the biggest thing that probably catapulted me into my sophomore year. And then from there, I made varsity. It was finally joined the team with my best friends and all that. And then from there, sophomore year was pretty good. Still learning and trying to find my way. Because a fun fact, I actually played the 4 and 5 in high school. I was not a guard at all, and I didn't really develop my guard skills until, which brings me to my junior year, where my best friend, college roommate, Leighton Hammonds, he invited me to the Dallas Mustangs like tryout, pretty much, and I made the team. And then from there was where I kind of started to really get serious with it. And then because I joined a team and we all went D1 that year, like from top to bottom. I think we all went D1 that year. And but like we had, you know, true bigs on the team. And like they told me, they were like, I mean, like you're gonna have to play guard. And I was like looking at them like, you know, I can barely play guard. I really can't. I'm not comfortable dribbling. You know, I'm used to guarding, you know, slower cats. But I mean that really made me, you know, like kind of change my game. And like from that summer on was just trying to just develop, you know, that guard situation. But once that summer ended, I'm going back to Rowlett. Guess where I'm playing at? The 5 again. So I'm like, coach, you know, please, I've been working on my guard skills. He's like, man, you know, we need you at the 4 or 5. I'm like, all right, you know, whatever it takes for the team. But I would say that summer was probably like the biggest summer of my, you know, part of my playing career, because then I got some D1 looks. I wasn't really known like that. I was only a 3-star at Rowlett. And yeah, from there was kind of history.
Yeah, man, that's a crazy story, Jeff, because I know for a lot of guys, and you know, you played at Oklahoma State, Big 12. That's a high major conference and everything, but usually early on you'll see guys are playing, you know, varsity as a freshman. You know, they're highly touted, 4 or 5-star. So to make that jump's incredible. But what kind of, for you, was it in the difference? You know, you talked about the position, but what was it in AAU that was different from high school? Was it just that opportunity, or what kind of changed looks wise?
Opportunity for sure. Getting seen by these colleges is like half the battle for these kids. I mean, especially those who aren't highly scouted like myself.
Mhm.
But I was blessed enough to, you know, be able to join the Dallas Mustangs, and like I said, we were very, very good. I think everybody went high D1, if not mid-major D1. So of course, you know, we're having scouts at our tournaments every weekend, you know, game in and game out. So I think just finally having the opportunity to be seen and like taking, you know, full advantage of it. Because, you know, like you can get the opportunity, but then you got to do something with it. So I think I would say that right there was probably like the biggest thing.
Man, absolutely. So, you know, like how you said, you know, you got to take advantage of that opportunity, and that's, you know, that's exactly what you did. You know, you know, have a great high school career. You know, have a great AAU career as well, and then, you know, for college you decided to go with Oklahoma State, man. But what I want to know is, like, you know, what went into that decision. I did see that you know, were recruited by Kansas to TCU, Oklahoma University. But talk to us about, you know, what made it, what went into your recruitment, and you know how that was.
Man, that recruitment process was a blessing, but it was also very crazy at the same time. Because like I said, I was a kid, you know, coming from nothing really, not really being seen, to literally, I think, one AAU tournament changing my whole thing. But to go into that, I mean, I actually took my first official visit to Kansas State. I don't even know if people really know about that, but I took my first official visit there because I think at that time you could have 5, or I think maybe now you still have 5. But yeah, I took her unofficial to UNT because I'm from Rowlett, so that's, you know, about a 45-minute ride. But yeah, I would say Kansas State was my first official visit. Another teammate from the Dallas Mustangs team was Marcus Foster. I played with him as well, and we both took the visit at the same time. And I just remember being, you know, so excited, you know, like a kid never really coming out of Rowlett, you know, much, and going into like a college environment was just a totally new world, and I was blown away. Like I think I remember my feelings like right when I got there was like, I want to commit right away. Like before this opportunity slips or goes anywhere, I want to commit. But I told my dad, and he was like, you know what, you know, you have Stillwater next week. You know, I think maybe after you go to Stillwater, just see how you feel, and then, you know, we can come to see. And then I was like, okay, fine. Just being, you know, really excited and antsy. And then that next week came and I got to Stillwater, and because it's not really much out here. And so, like it doesn't really sound like much, but like Stillwater is in his own little land. But it was like it just blew me away. And just how, like the team that was there at the time, Marcus Smart, Brian Nash, Markel Brown, some greats. And just going from like watching them on TV to like, oh, I'm about to go take a visit here, which was kind of crazy. And of course, I was excited again, but now my dad was with me this time. And I told him, I was like, okay, I think this is it. Like, I think, I can have like a real chance to play here. And he was like, all right, I mean, if you want to, go ahead. I mean, it's you commit, not me. I was like, all right. So I remember I was at Travis Ford's house, very, very beautiful home. And we were just sitting there at the table. And I was just so nervous. I was like, man, I don't even think that I can like form the words to even say it because I'm just so nervous. And I was like, Coach, I want to commit. Everybody got excited. We stood up, congrats. And then, yeah, from there, it was history. From there, I was a Cowboy.
Man, that's a really cool story, man. I'll always love to hear stories about how the commitment came about.
Right.
So that's great. So your freshman year, we know you redshirted, but tell us what I'm always interested to hear about is how was that transition? When you go from high school basketball to where you may have a kid who not really even good at basketball, just tall, can make the team, to where you're playing Division I. Every cat, the man who plays 0 minutes was the boy, and was his boy out of high school. So talk to us about that, how that transition was, how was the speed for you and all that?
It was kind of tough at first, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Because getting there, or like in high school, because I like started at the bottom and finally, worked hard and like got my way to the top. And then once you hit college, you hit the refresh button. None of that matters. You were 3-star, 4-star, -2-star, all that's out the window, and it's fair ground. And so I wouldn't say like I like struggled with like going from being a guy to like nobody, but it was like I wasn't aware of the red shirt idea, I guess. So it kind of caught me off guard. And because like at that time, I think you were allowed to play up to like 7 games, and then you were able to decide if you wanted to. And I want to say it was like game 4, game 5 of the preseason. My family came up. They were, of course, excited to be there, excited to see me play. And I remember getting pulled off the court because Coach Ford, he wanted to speak. And of course, I'm excited. I have no idea what's going on. And I go in there, and it's kind of like a serious vibe, and I'm like, uh-oh, like, am I in trouble? Like, did I do anything wrong? And he kind of just starts talking, and he was like, how would you feel about redshirting? And at first I kind of just didn't really say anything because I wasn't aware of it. I knew what it was, but I didn't really have plans to do it. And like, yeah, I mean, he just kept it real with me, and that's something that I thank him for, to this day, because some coaches, like they could sugarcoat it, could sell you a dream in this one way, but he kept it real with me. He was like, we're really loaded, as you can see, and it's just going to be hard to find time for you, playing as a freshman, because I'm playing behind Phil Forte, who's one of the best shooters in the country, and he's a 6 man, so it's like, oh, I'm definitely probably not going to see the floor. So I just thought it was my best to probably do it. Cause then, I like really like sat back and thought about it. Well, like I like get a year to not play, I get it back, and I have a full year to really work on my game, go to school, go to class, and work on my game. And that's exactly what I did.
Damn. What was it like? You talk about you come in, you're recruited there, you're on scholarship, everything, but that moment when you knew you had to redshirt, what was it like that first year, kind of mentally having to stay locked in that whole year when you see maybe other freshmen playing, guys the guys on your AAU team, they're at their schools and they're playing,
Right.
they're getting a lot of minutes,
Right.
and you seeing them shine. How was it that, like, mentally, what'd you do to stay locked in?
Mentally, of course, I went through the poor Jeff phase. I was like, man, it's unfortunate, but then it's like shortly after I realized, like no one's gonna feel sorry, and I really saw it as kind of an advantage because some of those freshmen, like they have highs and lows. You might play a lot for a good spurt of games, and then you might not play at all for a good spurt of games. So I just try to focus on the bigger picture, like, okay, right now it sucks. Tomorrow, next week, in a month, it's still probably going to suck. But next year, like, what do you want to look like? And I just always kept my focus on that, was just a bigger picture. And like this was before like the good years. So I just thought, like I have a year to like work on my body, be in the weight room a lot, focus on eating, getting my weight up because I was kind of thin getting in there. And yeah, I mean, just kind of taking it for what it was because yeah, like I'm not gonna act like, oh, like it didn't phase me, one bit. But like in the moment, yeah, for the first couple of days, I'm like, man, like you go through am I good enough? Like to be here, but then like you just kind of get in your head and it's like that's just you talking to you. So then like like right after that it was like, hey, you have time to focus on yourself, get better, be a good teammate. I was the biggest cheerleader probably on that because I was like, I want to affect the game somehow. I can't play, I'm gonna scream at somebody. I'm gonna make sure my teammate knows that I see him doing good and all that. So I like just really try to just focus on the bigger picture, I would say.
Man, absolutely, and that just speaks, your maturity. Because I mean, let's be real, like a lot of college kids at that level, who's had the success that you've had up to that point, really wouldn't be able to swallow that pill. So that's definitely, hats off to your maturity to be able to do that. But you talked about that second year and you having that you having that mindset. So that's what I want to get into now. After you redshirted, when that first game that that you were able to play, like talk to me about the jitters. Talk to me about how you felt, and did you feel like, all right, I had that year. I know you said you wanted to bulk up. You know what I'm saying? Did you feel prepared? Did you feel like your game, took some jumps and you were ready to go?
I did for sure because something that I kind of, or like my role or that people knew me was just for being a shooter. So I think, changing my body, getting it bigger, being able to take hits, because I'm in practice taking hits from Markel Brown, Lebron, Marcus Smart, because I'm the practice dummy. So like I had a chance to really guard some pro guys, at the time, and like I had no idea. So no, I would say like to this day, I tell people like redshirt was probably the best thing I could have did for my whole career because I mean, obviously, like it would have been great to play that year, but I probably wouldn't have gotten that much out of it. So I think just having that whole year off was just the best thing for me. And I just going into the first game, man, of course I was nervous because then it's like, the time is finally here. What you're doing all this work, like the time is finally here. And so now, like, of course, some jitters, but I mean, it all kind of goes out the window, for a few minutes, as soon as you start playing. But yeah.
Man, a few names, like you mentioned LeBron Nash. Obviously, he was, everyone knows LeBron Nash's story up until then. But Marcus Smart, the last year's defensive player of the year, man. You talked about guarding him in practice. What was it like being around him? Like, was he
Don't
like
remind
that
me.
then? Like, what was it like?
Like he was like that, and it was like I don't think I really understood how good he was already. Cause like, oh yeah, I got there his second year. So his first year I was watching him on TV and it was like he was already killing people, but he was like that. Like actually a funny story with him. So like this was kind of my like welcome to Stillwater kind of moment with him or college basketball. So we're playing pickup, like the first couple of pickups for the summer. Somehow like I'm like playing defense. I like contest someone's shot and I kind of like leak And so we get the rebound, and someone like throws me the ball. So I'm thinking, oh, finally I can go get an easy bucket. Marcus Smart didn't think so. So I'm going. So mind you, I'm already at half court, like pushing like the 3-point line already on the other side. And no one's running after me. No one. I don't see anyone coming yet. I catch the ball. By the time I turn around, look at the goal, I go up for the layup. I just see someone come out of nowhere. And how like LeBron blocked that shot, he just spikes my ball off the backboard and just and it goes back on the other end. And I remember just standing there like, what just happened? Like, I was like, I don't even know what just happened. I didn't even see him moving like 2 seconds ago. He somehow came and got me. And that just shows to this day, like he does that with this, but like he's always been like that. Like, he's always been that dog. Like he has that.
Man, absolutely.
But yeah, that was my
it's
Marcus
always
Smart moment.
It's always crazy to hear, stories about that and of just these guys. They're just different, and sometimes we don't even know.
Been different, yeah.
Exactly,
different.
exactly, man. Been different since a young age, man. But all right, so then we fast forward to your junior year, which some could call your breakout year. You become the 4th player in Big 12 history, like ever, to finish top 10 in the league in scoring. It's 17 points per game, rebounding. You had eight points per game, and 3-point percentage. You shot a ridiculous 44% from 3, which is absurd. So let's talk a little bit about that, and let's give you your flowers, because the only other 3 players in Big 12 history to do that, I don't know if you know this or not, but it's the Slim Reaper, Kevin Durant.
Yeah. The guy.
Exactly, the guy, right?
Yeah.
Jordan Yang and Jordan Hamilton. So talk to us about, how does it feel to be along elite company? You know what I'm saying? When you mention those names, you better mention Jeffrey Carroll too.
Man, first of all, thank y'all for that. Thank you for that, for saying that. And second of all, I remember when I first found that out, I was like Kevin Durant, like we're talking about Kevin Durant,
Kevin freaking Durant.
I mean, man, but like that year was just, I don't know what happened. I mean, obviously we had a different coach, Brad, and our system was just crazy. I want to say behind UCLA when they had Lonzo Ball, like we were like the second offense. We had Jawan running point guard. Man, Phil Forte on one wing, I'm on the other wing. We had my boy Layden and Mitch, and we had a really. I actually came off the bench. I actually forgot that. I actually came off the bench and did that. But whenever Coach Brad got there, mind you, he doesn't really know me like that. I remember he called me into his office and was like, I think that you could be one of the best players in the Big 12. And, he's talking to a kid who was just averaging 8 and 4, So I'm like, okay, of course I'm like, oh, okay. Like he must like me or something. He must see something. But I'm like, okay, I'm not really thinking much of it. But man, our system, man, like the system that we ran and just like the teammates that I had, I mean, it was all thanks to that. And yeah, I mean, that's all I can really say with that. I mean, like the rest was just me trying to play hard, and the confidence and the swagger was definitely at a high, and yeah, it was just crazy.
Absolutely, man. So me and Jay, we often talk about summer of separation, right? When you doing something that other players just not doing. So that's kind of what comes to mind when you talk about that. Like, what if you had a point to I know it's been a lifetime worth of work that got you there, but if you had a point to one thing that really took you over the edge and got you to have that ridiculous breakout season, could you think back to something that you were doing?
I would say that summer for me was really big. I was actually sent to Phoenix and to train, and that summer I also did the Adidas camp and the Nike camp. And I would say just being around those players, because like I say, I'm just a cat from Virginia, not really highly ranked, to being around these guys that are highly touted, that are superstars, and just being able to compete with them and knowing that I could was probably like mentally was what I needed, because I think, like the skills has always been there, just like the confidence has always wavered. And I think that summer really gave me the confidence, like this could be it. I mean, granted, it was a totally new coach, new system, but we still had the same team, and I would say probably that summer right there was probably what gave me the confidence for me to take that jump.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, mental is huge, man. A lot of people,
Yeah,
especially kids at a young age, don't really understand the importance of mentally, not only believing in yourself, but
right,
really before you get on the court, visualizing yourself,
right.
out there doing everything. But for all these player interviews, Jeffrey, I'm not gonna lie. One of my favorite questions to ask is this next one I'm about to ask you right now, which is, man, like you clearly played, at a Division I program, prestigious program. You mentioned you playing against players like Marcus Smart. You were along the lines of Kevin Durant. You were in the Big 12, so big time players. But what I want to know is there one team or one player when you were in college, you were like, man, we got to go up against him. Like, I got to get some sleep tonight. I got to get ready because this is not going to be an easy matchup.
Man, definitely some come to mind easily. Buddy Hield is one of them. Buddy Hield is one of them. Trey Young is another one. Man. I played against Andrew Wiggins and Joel Embiid. Well, I was redshirted, so I didn't have to play against them. But I would say they were. I mean, just as far as like watching them and like what we had to prepare for, they're up there. George Niang is definitely up there. Naz Long, like that whole Iowa State team. Monte Morris, Deontay Burton, Naz Long, Matt Thomas. I would say them probably. I would say them, but yeah. It was a lot of guys I've seen, but I mean, probably Buddy Hield and Trey Young.
Man, absolutely.
Yeah, so Jeff, we talked about your at Oklahoma State career, putting up those historic numbers, going from a red shirt to all Big 12, a historic feat, man. Like no one can take it from you, especially with the players you played against and the elite company you're with. And they were with as well because they were with Jeffrey Carroll Jr. But let's talk about the next step for you, which is the pros, man. What was that like? You're leaving the Big 12, you're leaving Oklahoma State. Now you want to go obviously further your basketball career. What was the step getting an agent and all that to your next step in the pros?
Yeah, so we finished up. I want to say we played the NIT my senior year. We finished up. We went. I want to say we won the first 3 games. We lost to Western Kentucky, to a really good team. And yeah, from there, I hired the agent. I left Stillwater right away because I was already finished up with school. So just said my goodbyes, everybody. And yeah, it was just pretty much just going back home to get ready for the next step. And yeah, so met and signed with the agency. And yeah, from there, I went to Atlanta, Georgia, where I went to the Skills Factory to start my pre-draft process pretty much. And I was down there pretty much just working on my games, just getting ready for the draft. And then yeah, so the draft comes around. I have a little draft party because I had, I want to say like 12, 13, 14 pre-draft workouts. So a pretty good pre-draft session or thing that I would say. And I had really good workouts with the Lakers and the Knicks. And I want to say the Lakers. So yeah, this is the year that they got bronze. So we had, I want to say there was like a 1 pick, I think like a 40th, like a 40th pick in the second round. And I think it was between me and Svi Mykhailiuk. And they ended up drafting Svi Mykhailiuk, somebody that I also battled against in college.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so from there, went undrafted. went through the sad phase again. Just not know, like now it's like the uncertainty now because this isn't college where you know that you're probably gonna play or whatever. But so now it's the uncertainty. Um, and then shortly after the draft was over, I want to say like 15 minutes later, my agent called me and was like, the Lakers want to bring you in for summer league. And so sad phase was over, happy phase again, and yeah, from there, I was really excited. Just another chance for me to try to prove, and yeah, from there was I actually played well. Played my way in. Got a Exhibit 10 contract, which was at the time is you pretty much just get invited to training camp. And of course the training camp roster is like 18, 19, 20 guys. And of course by the time the season starts, they have to have like 12. Went through that. So I was in LA on the Lakers, enjoying it, the LeBron era. Trying to take it all in because just a kid from Virginia now in LA with the big dogs, walking around with AD and LeBron and Kuz and all those guys, and yeah, just trying to take it all in. And I was getting some practice moments, not the most. Yeah, Luke Walton was a coach, but we were just so loaded. It was going to be really, really hard for me to get an opportunity because we, Lance Stevenson, KCP, who else? Yeah, Brandon Ingram, Kuz, Caruso. So a lot of guards. So it was my chances were very, very slim. I actually only ended up playing a few minutes in a preseason game against the Clippers. I want to say Boban dunked on me because he's already at the rim. So that was my only real NBA type of action. But just the experience for me was really dope. And just coming from nothing and being in LA, just still just trying to focus on the bigger picture. Just still working on my game, of course knowing my opportunities are very slim, but I didn't really let that change my mindset. I was just enjoy it, because not a lot of people can even get to where you're at. So I think just taking that all in was great. I mean, I was very blessed to be there. It's somewhere I do want to get back, but I just had to kind of take a different route, and now hopefully one day I can get back there.
Man, absolutely, man, absolutely. So, you talked about LeBron, right? I mean, I'm sure you see, all the Lakers thing. All the Lakers. I'm a big time Lakers fans.
John, a huge Laker fan.
For sure.
I'm a big time Laker. Got all the LeBron jerseys. This one's actually the one I got my daughter name on the back, and my girl got it for me. So, but whatever, man. That's besides the point. That's but dope. What I want to know is how is it to be around? You talk about LeBron era, the AD, and AD's cool. I like AD, but I want to know about how is it being around a player like Bron? Like even if you hate the man, you got to think he's arguably top 5 player of all time. Like just I feel like right. Go no There's way no around debate. It. Yeah, there's no debate about it, right? So,
but
how is that?
Man, it was crazy. Yeah, I mean, first story, my first time, seeing him in person, because, of course, I've never seen him in person. He's like a myth, a legend, a ghost. He's him, whatever. And I was at the facility. I was getting ready one morning for a workout. And, this was, before, I guess, the real team kind of got to town. And so, I'm in there working out. I get done. I'm, leaving the court. And the facility is crazy nice, really, really nice. And it's there's really long hallways. And so it's a one long hallway to get to the South Bay locker room, which is where I was trying to go. And I walk out of the gym, turn to my right, and the first people I see is LeBron and Bronny, his son. And of course, he sees me, I see him, but froze up because I was this is him. I was oh, it's this is LeBron right here in front of me. I wasn't even mentally ready to see him or none of that. And like he just comes up to me, he's yo, what's up? Like, and I was like, yo, how you doing? Like, I'm Jeff Carroll. Like, he's like, okay, cool. I dap him up, and I'm like, yo, like I just dapped up, one of the goats, arguably, like that quick. And then like I like said what's up to Bronny. I was like, yo, like Bronny was, even big then. I was like, yo, this dude is huge too. Like, what? But yeah, like just seeing him, and like I like really don't get starstruck because I've like been around some people and seen some people, but I kind of just got like I definitely was a little starstruck. I'm not gonna lie, because I saw him, I was like, oh wow, like this is him. And yeah, it was crazy to seeing him like that. But man, just being around him, like I had a few conversations with him, like nothing crazy, obviously, because like we don't really have much to talk about. But like another story was a preseason game we were in. We're somewhere in California, I don't even know, but we were playing the Denver Nuggets, and I wasn't playing, of course. I was sitting at the end of the bench, and I like LeBron has this kind of like reclining little cushion for his seat. So like I was sitting in it, but I had no idea that it was LeBron. So he comes out of the game. I'm at the end of the bench. Of course, I stand up, dap him up. Like, good job. And he's like, "You're in my seat." And I'm like, huh? Like I'm not paying much attention. I'm like, oh, like this is LeBron talking to me again. I'm like, huh? Like, wait, like what'd you say? He's like, "You're in my seat." And he kind of starts like chuckling. But I'm thinking he's like kind of messing with me, like trolling me, like, oh, he's trying to bother me because he knows I'm not, like used to being here. And I just sit back down. I just sit back down like he didn't say that. And he's like, "No, wait, really? Like you're in my seat." I was like, "Oh, my bad." Like, and I like got up and we started laughing. Like we both started laughing. I was like, "Oh, snap!" Like he was being serious, but like I would say like he's the most like humble superstar. Like he doesn't act like I'm LeBron James. It's like he just acts like a normal dude who is LeBron James. But it's like because like some superstars are like, oh, you know who I am, like. But it's like he was, someone like really, really down to earth, and it really, kind of caught me by surprise because I was like, someone of his caliber, doesn't have to be like that, and it's probably hard to be like that. But I was just like really blown away by that, really. But yeah. It,
Man, bro, that's like insane, and it just, man, like it's something you'll hold on to for
for sure.
absolutely the rest of your life, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's dope how from the start, Jeff, you had that beginning and you could see kind of the top, being around, greatness like that. And then even if you didn't stay up there, you now want to work back there. So that's a crazy story to begin
For
with.
sure.
But your first year with the South Bay Lakers, man, what was that like? Your first pro season?
Man, it was kind of bad, to be honest, because I had a injury that held me out for like for like 75% of the season. I had like a grade 3 ankle tear. Like the first day, so yeah, fast forward through the Lakers. So they waived me, but they were like, we still want you to play for our affiliate, who was South Bay. And I was like, of course. And in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm already here. They already know me a little bit, so if anything, I'm just like a gym over now. So I was like, I think like this will still be a great opportunity. So we had like about a week, 2 week break in between. I went home, came back, fully locked in for South Bay. I was like, now, I'm fully motivated, like even more. Like I want to get back to the real Lakers. And yeah, so the first day, like we get loose, go through our warm ups. Like first, second drill, we're playing ones. Don't know why. So we're playing ones, we're competing, and I go get a bucket, and so that, but like you got a point for being on defense, or like for getting a stop on defense. So got on defense, and so someone is coming at me. We're playing. I'm guarding him. He kind of beats me. I recover. I block his shot off the glass, and somehow like he didn't really move out of the way, so I came down and my right foot stepped on top of his foot. my like the side of my ankle just touched the ground, and like the rest was it was over from there. Definitely one of the worst pains I ever felt. At OSU, I never really got hurt, so going through that, your first real deal injury in your rookie year, not the most ideal time to happen. It kind of set me back because now I was an affiliate guy, who was on the radar. Was probably going to be a starter or going to get really, really good minutes. And then all that is over as soon as I turned my ankle, and I was out for probably like 70% of the season because the regular G League season is only 55 games. And I definitely missed about, probably 30 or some games. Then it's like the first couple of games you come back, you're not really there yet. You're just out there to try to get back acclimated. So I definitely have some good stretches. I put up some good 20-point games, but it just wasn't enough. Because like by the time I got in the groove, was finally playing well, getting minutes, the season was over because we didn't make the playoffs, unfortunately. So yeah, the season was cut just like that. So my rookie year was done just like that. And so, but I mean, it was like overall, I mean, like once I finally got out there, it was great. But it was just finally getting out there, the never being hurt to, of course you go through, am I going to be the same? Of course, like, luckily I didn't have a serious injury. Like, I don't even want to say it, knock on wood. I don't even want to say it, but it's like, like just going through that. But I mean, thankfully it wasn't that serious, but yeah, I mean, it was okay. It was okay.
Yeah. And just to have that experience and play at that level is huge regardless. Right. So, I mean, no one can take that away from you too. And being affiliated or being in an organization like the Lakers, South Bay Lakers, don't matter, still big. But sure. Jeff, a question for you, man. Like throughout the G League and even the preseason or whatever, summer league up in 2018, what matchups were tough for you, if any, or like what kind of players and things, practices, what was that like? Because you're practicing with LeBron, all these guys, Caruso.
It was kind of tough at first because then it was like the high school, you work your way up, hit college, back at the bottom. College, work your way up, hit the pros, back at the bottom. So now, I'm casually playing pickup against Rondo, Braun, Caruso. But I mean, it was definitely a culture shock. It was definitely, like this is the high stage for a reason. But I think just like once I finally got my feet wet, like I went through some workouts, played some pickups, it definitely got better. And then like you start finally feeling like, oh, like I belong here, I can play. But like you also realize like your window of opportunity is really, really small. And, just like the simplest thing could hold you back from not making that roster, so.
Extremely interesting. People don't realize like an injury, that can be the difference of you making a roster and not. So glad you talked about that. But I guess everything happens for a reason, and not in a cliche kind of way, but in the sense that, in terms of sometimes it takes one thing to lead to another. And what I'm talking about is your 2019, 2020 season, your first season overseas after you left the South Bay Lakers. And this was with Bergamo, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And you had a rebounds, more of yourself. Looks like you were back healthy as well. What was that like, your first season overseas, and that adjustment and everything you had to do?
Like you said, big adjustment because, like I said, small town kid, not coming from much, and now you're going across that water. And I had never been overseas until my first year, and like not a lot of people know that either. So that was, man. At first, I'm not gonna lie, I was just nervous. I had anxiety, like not nervous in a basketball standpoint. It was just nervous, like my everyday life, my day to day, the off the court, how am I gonna live, eat, talk to people, hang out, So like I just remember first landing in Italy, and like my phone, because like here I have AT&T, so it's like once I hit over there, some Italian service came up, and my phone wasn't working, and like that's when I knew. I was like, man, like I'm just in a totally different world right now. But it definitely got better. Like once I got got settled in, started making friends, going out a little bit, and like once the basketball started picking up, it definitely got better. But yeah, like you said, I was finally healthy, fully healthy, confident, probably hungrier than ever, because I was like, well, I just came from LA, and now like this is like my year to try to just like for myself, like kind of take it to myself, like just don't focus on goals, just focus on being the best basketball player that you can be and best person that you can be, because like now I'm the import, now I'm the foreigner, so I'm used to foreigners coming over and playing with us, and now it's it's different. And so now it was just really just taking a step back, accepting where I was at, being where my feet were, and from there, yeah, I mean, it turned out to be great. That ended up being the COVID year, the first year that COVID kind of hit. So, but until then, it was great. Like once we started playing, I want to say like my first, like I think by my third game, I put up a 30 ball. So it was like I knew I was gonna be okay. It was just a matter of mentally, being ready for everything, being away, like how's it gonna be when it gets hard, we start losing, because I was playing great, but we weren't very great as a team. Like we were one of the bottom feeders. We were fighting relegation. So it was definitely some pressure, but I was just like, like I said earlier, just trying to focus on the bigger goal, which is being the best player, best person that I could be.
True. Yeah. I mean, that even that adjustment, like you said, hadn't like played overseas at that point, and even the off court adjustments, that's a lot of our guests and usually don't talk about enough, like coming from America, playing in Europe, just outside of basketball is a big adjustment too at the same time. But the first season over there, it propelled you to Division I with Treviso, man. Talk about that, and seeing your hard work and putting up the numbers, like you said, pay off in a big way. Now you're playing at
Right.
what some would consider one of the top leagues in Europe.
Right. Oh man, it was great. And like you said, like just the hard work finally come, or like not finally coming to show, but just showing, staying patient, not trying to rush the process. And yeah, and just like mentally staying ready. Cause like I said, that was a COVID year. So then like it was a lot of ups and downs that year, because individually I was doing really well, but as a team, because I'm a competitor, I don't like to lose. I don't care if we're doing a race down the street, I'm gonna want to win. So it was like finding that balance of staying level, not being too high, not being too low, was probably the biggest challenge, but like a challenge that also helped me get ready for Treviso. Because then that year, COVID happened. The season, we actually didn't end up finishing the season. We finished a majority of it, but we didn't finish the entire thing. So it was definitely great. It was definitely a great feeling. Like I put in, or I've shown enough to where it could get me to that next level. But yeah, man, just taking that next step, playing in one of the best leagues in Europe, and like not even really knowing it, because like I said, I wasn't really too used to like the European scene, the powerhouses of Europe, like what leagues and what divisions and all that. So just kind of going through that process and learning it, kind of step by step was pretty cool at the same time.
Man, absolutely, man. And and for the family out there, I don't know what is going on. We are having all types of technical difficulties today, but but we appreciate, everybody, staying along with us. But like how you said, Jeffrey, you had to, make the adjustment, and you definitely did. But before we start wrapping up here, I want to know about what are some, we talked about, some big games, some key matchups you had in college, but what are some, now you're playing, this is, people are pros, right? Like you're playing against these foreigners. Well, they're in their homeland, right? But I guess like to us, they're foreigners, and they're, trying to feed their family, feed their kids. So how was that? That I know the game is different from, the States and being overseas. How did it take to you to adjust and for you to understand? Because you clearly adjust, and had a good season over there.
Right. I mean, to start, something that I learned right away was attention to detail. Like these, to us, they're foreigners, but like their training is a little different. Like they're very high IQ guys. Like I would say that's the difference between like us Americans. Like, because I mean, Americans, like, we're known for being like athletes. You like over there, like they may not be the best athletes, but they're really really smart. So like they can make up, in like different facets of the game by just being smart. But man, like, yeah, just playing against a highly IQ guys, like you can definitely tell the clubs that have been playing together for some seasons, because like they have that camaraderie, like they know each other's move before they even do it. But I mean, yeah, probably just like the attention to detail, the scouting report, like everybody's strengths, their weaknesses, just everything. And like, but I mean, like as far as like the difference, like definitely like the IQ, I would say. But like that's something also that I mean that like Europe has given to me was like slowing the game down, just because I've always been a player, it's just like pass it to me, like go get a bucket, or quick hitters, quick this, but just playing in different roles on these different teams has caused my game to really grow. Because I mean, of course, I can still shoot, but it's like I think now, I became a better playmaker, making reads, reading the defense was something that I never really did. It was just I just relied on just my natural instincts, skills, kind of just stuff like that. But just kind of just playing in Europe, it just kind of just slowed the game down, and like that's why you see these Nikola Jokic's, these Luka Doncic's, these guys who they aren't playing fast at all. They're then, dang near walking, but it's they're so smart, and it's like you could tell, and it's like just being in those cultures, like it's really just in the mind, because they might not be the most athletic, but they are smart, and like they can make up, and like affect the game in a lot of different ways just off of IQ.
Absolutely, man. I bet that that propelled your game to a whole nother level. But but before we get you out of here, Jeffrey, one thing that we do, I gotta ask about. You talked about playing Trae Young in college and all of that. But I know for all the people, and I'm gonna link all your social media and all that, man. On your Instagram, there's that picture. What I'm saying, you play with Trae Young in that classic the Skins League, the Oklahoma very prominent pro runs. I want to know, how that game was, playing with such other great players, and just playing in a good league. How was that? This you just recently played that.
I mean, it's great because the Skin League has been around for, I want to say like this is the 6th, 7th year, so kind of new, but it's definitely it's gonna be like the Drew League of the Midwest. Is like that's kind of the goal, because I'm really close with the owner, the founder, who is Skins himself. His name is Skins, and yeah, I mean it just got NBA sanctioned, so anybody from the league who wants to pull up can pull up. But I mean, no, I mean for as far as like how I look at it, I mean it's great. I mean, because you're playing against pro guys, you're playing against high level collegiate guys who are getting ready to go pro, collegiate stars, guys who are pro, guys who are vets. So it's definitely good, just good bump to play in to stay ready, game wise during the summer, and it's really competitive. And I think for just the city itself, is good because it just brings out fans, guys, or like maybe fans who used to like us in college, maybe who can't really see our games overseas, like have a chance to see us play live, for $5, and I just think that it's just a good deal in general. But I mean, playing with Trey is a lot better than playing against him. I'll tell you that. I'll definitely leave it at that. But man, it's like you just realize. I mean, of course, I knew how great he was, but you just see the game translate, and it's no surprise. It's really no surprise, and just I'm just how I mean, just as a fan of the game, I mean, I love his game. And of course, playing with him, as a scorer, as a shooter off the ball, he definitely has some assists to me because that was actually our second game together. The game that went viral was the one that the trash talking player, the one that hit the game winner. I was actually in that game too. And yeah, I mean, of course, you saw the ending like that. Like that's what he does. But it's just like that environment to the city, to the state, is great. And because like you're talking about a cat who was just in the Eastern Conference Finals, and you have a chance to see him for $5. And I mean, like just in general, with Blonde and like DeJounte Murray, like these other guys playing. I mean, I just think that is great, for the fans. I mean, because maybe families who can't afford to go see these guys are, 15 feet away from them. They're getting sweated on by these guys, So I think that is great. But no, I'm good. But playing with Trey is definitely better playing as his teammate than against him.
Man, I bet, man. And yeah, and that's what I wanted to tell you. I wanted to say you like, man, I love it how you guys are out there because like again, not every kid can afford to go see a college game or an NBA game, but to be out there, you guys are really showing these kids that it's possible, man. But all right, Jeffrey. So we talked about high school, talked about college, talked about time in the league, your pro career. Or what what we want to know and what the family want to know is what's next. What's in the horizons and what can we expect for you? Whether it be next stops or what can the people expect to stay up to date with you and what you got going
on. To stay up to date with me, I actually just signed a deal. I'm going first league Finland, so I'm trying out a different country.
Nice.
Going first league, Helsinki, the capital of Finland. They're the Helsinki Seagulls. But yeah, top league Finland. It'll be a new adventure, new start, new culture, and just a new fresh chance to go, show my game somewhere else, and to hopefully circle back to hopefully summer league and to kind of just try to work my way back up. So, but as far as next, I actually leave this Thursday on the 1st to go out there to Finland, and I'm looking forward to a very big season, a healthy season, God willing, and a very successful one.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, that's huge props, man. Signing
Congrats.
a pro. Yes, congrats,
sure.
bro.
Congrats, man. That's big time. Yes, sir.
That's
Appreciate
big
that.
time.
Appreciate that.
Signing a pro contract, playing pro is huge, man. For every kid that picks up that basketball and plays, that's something they dream of. So big big ups to you. But last thing that we want to know is if there's some kid out there, not even if some kid, some college kid or some high school kid that wants to have a career like you, wants to be able to, be at the bottom, but be able to climb up every single time and not let adversity keep them down. What would be, maybe one or two pieces of advice you would give to a young hooper out there, or even maybe just a young Jeffrey Carroll?
Man, to find like the reward within the journey. Like, don't think about the destination. Just enjoy what you go through, the good, the bad, the ugly, the highs, all the wins, the lows where you thought about maybe quitting, and just even like in the middle where everything is good, it's not bad, it's not great, it's content, but just being where your feet are, man, because oftentimes, like my biggest struggle was the mental part of the game, was just getting frustrated easily. Sometimes not being able to take constructive criticism, maybe whether that's from a teammate, from a coach. Um, being too hard on myself, like how I talk to myself in my head was something that I just kind of got around to, just because I'm so hard on myself. Like I miss a few shots, I'm like, oh, you're being trash. But it's like, why put that upon yourself? Just push yourself to be the best you can be, because no one's perfect, but just be where your feet are and just enjoy the ride, because you never know when it's over. It could be over tomorrow. It could be over, in some decades. But just enjoy where you are, whether that's where you want to be. But you're kind of there for a reason. So I would tell a young person that, or even my younger version of myself that.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that advice. Yeah, the journey is absolutely just as important as the destination, or like even more important. So
Right.
appreciate the words of the wise. And man, just appreciate you for your time and coming on
Man,
to share your
I'm
to
glad to
share
be
your
on
hoop journey.
here.
Yeah, been a long time coming for real.
Sorry for the holdups, man.
It's
I'm
all
not gonna
good.
lie. Sorry for the holdups.
It's all good.
Because I know y'all busy, man. But no, I'm very thankful to be here to talk to y'all today, and for sure, I hope that we can definitely talk again. Later down the road.
Yes, sir, man. Most definitely, man.
For sure.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you for me, making time for this, my dog. We apologize for any technical.
Nah, you can, man. That's me too, man. Because I've been moving around a lot, man. I'm not gonna lie, but no, I'm glad that I was able to finally sit down with y'all today, man. For sure.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. And for all the family out there, if you guys want to stay up to date with our guy Jeffrey, man, I'm gonna link his Instagram, social media, and everything in the description down below. It'll also be right there in his little bubble, man. So make sure you guys show our guy Jeffrey some love. He's about to head out there to Finland, man. So support in any way you can, because he's our guy, big time thing, man. And Jeffrey, before we get out of here, is there anything you want to shout out, or anyone you want to shout out while you have this platform?
Man, shout out my mom, dad, my boy Coda Bear, Lindy. But I mean, just shout out to people that really like me, that follow me, rock with me, that been supporting me all this way since since I was a kid. And then shout out to y'all as well, because I mean, I hope to see y'all in about a year, blown up. You feel me? And I'm just trying to talk to y'all again, because y'all are so famous, man. But nah, man.
We appreciate
shout out to y'all in a big way.
Appreciate you, for real.
We appreciate you, my dog. We appreciate it, man. So yes, sir, man. For all the family, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and if you want to stay up to date with Jeffrey Carroll, man, make sure you check the description down below. But if that's it, then we out of here, y'all. Clutch Talk out.
Peace.